everyone. Welcome to Melbourne. I'm on the Yarra, our biggest river, and I'm going to talk to you about stress and trauma, because we all get it. So how are you, everyone? We are currently sitting down on the Yarra River in the city centre of Melbourne. We have the Princess Bridge ahead, Flinders Street station off to our left. You will have seen me down here if you saw my recent Diwali video on my Melbourne Walking Tours channel. And if a lot of you haven't discovered that yet, I do have a new channel purely dedicated to walking around Australia. So we'll give you another little quick look and then I will leave you staring at the beautiful Yarra. The reason I am here is this is one of the areas that I find the most calming. So whenever I'm really stressed, this is where I come. And we've got a rower coming up ahead and a helicopter overhead. So I'm going to pop you down here so you can see the rower. We'll come past in a second. So this modern world of ours has become very, very difficult. We are all dealing with trauma and stress and the flood of cortisol, which is the stress hormone, more than we've ever had to deal with in the past. And sometimes when that happens, we get highly stressed and a little traumatized. And when that happens, we can go into shock. Let me just shut up for a minute. Fabulous rowers in the city of Melbourne. Life has become very, very difficult and very stressful for a lot of us. And if any of you have seen my channel before, you know that a lot of what I do is all about stress relief. Little things we can do to catch our breath to deal with the chaos of the modern age. And when we're traumatized, a few different things happen. We stop sleeping, we stop eating. And when we go into shock, we develop a bit of a time delay. So we walk around behind ourselves. Hello, Rich Love. How are you? I hope you are really well. So partly the reason I haven't been streaming is I'm deeply traumatized at the moment. I've spent about 4 or 5 weeks in shock. And I've had a couple of traumatic episodes happen while I was already in shock. So I thought the best thing I could do today would be come and have a bit of a talk to you all about this, because I know it's stuff we have discussed many, many times in my live streams before. And life is hard. Life is hard for all of us. And we all have different ways to cope with it. So one of the things I do when I'm really stressed is I come down here to the river and I let the water do its magic. I get distracted by the reflections and everything like that. So let's see if I can sing a little bit for you, Rich. My voice is a little hoarse at the moment. I do apologise. It is only 10 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to give it my best go for you. So give me a second. So here we go. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pale? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot whatever it cool brings, call comfort for change. Did you exchange a walk-on part in the wall for a lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground, and how we found the same old fears. Wish you were here. So there we go. So there is a little Pink Floyd for all of us. I actually had an experience yesterday when there was a local busker that had a sign saying, karaoke with me, come and sing. So of course I went up and said, I'll sing a song with you. And I asked for Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd, and they didn't know who Pink Floyd were. And then I asked for My Way, and they didn't know who Frank Sinatra was. So I'm like, okay, the world has changed. I thank you so much, Rich. I really import that. Really appreciate that. Okay, that's one of the things that happens with shock and trauma, just while we're on this conversation, is you lose your ability to think clearly and properly. So what happens is you end up getting this slight time delay when it's like you're walking behind yourself. And it's hard to put sentences together. It's hard to do a lot of stuff. Now that's one of the main reasons I haven't been streaming, is I didn't trust myself to not lose control while I was live. But I thought at the very least I could have a bit of a chat to you about trauma and what it's like for all of us, because I know so many of us deal with this more than we realize. And as I'm talking about this more and more to people, what I'm realizing, it's not just the odd one of us that goes through this, but we all go through this, and we have varying degrees of it. And one of the main things I've learned when I'm in a phase like this is it's all about catching your breath. Like this. Let's take a moment and enjoy the bikes. It is. So it's Friday the 1st of November here. Welcome to the future. And the start of the Spring Racing Carnival, which is our big racing event, starts tomorrow. It is a long weekend. Most people will take a 4-day weekend. So Rich, you know what I mean. I have CPTSD, which is complex PTSD, and I've had it my whole life. And the thing that happens when you have a stressful episode in your life is you slip back into your trauma. It's always one step behind you. We never quite get away from it. And something happens and you go into survival mode, and one of three things will happen. It's either fight, flight, or what normally happens to me is freeze. And at that point, things stop. I stop talking, I stop making music, I stop creating art. Everything stops, and I don't realize it stopped at the time. It normally takes me a little while, and then I notice that something hasn't been around. Yes, it was Halloween here last night, and I did go and try some filming last night. I did get some good costumes for everyone, and I'll try to post that later today. That'll be on my little Melbourne Walking Tours channel. And what we also do when we're in times like this is we congregate. We come together, and for a lot of us, YouTubers become our community. It's become the place we catch up with our friends, where we spend time. And that's the reason that I'm here today, in my most calming and soothing of places, in the hope that all of us get a little bit of calming and soothing from it. So let me catch up with you. Yeah, and the struggle is real, and it's more real than we realize. And the problem that happens is if someone hasn't gone through stress and trauma themselves, they don't understand what you're going through, and they can often make things a lot harder by silencing you, by blaming you, and that's really the last thing that someone needs when they're in that position. What we really need is a little bit of compassion and empathy. We don't want people to tell us how to fix a situation. We just want them to acknowledge that it's there. It takes a huge amount for someone that's going through stress and trauma to actually talk about it. And normally that's because of the way that the world reacts to them. But that's also why I'm sitting here now talking to you about stress and trauma. Because when I started doing this many, many years ago, I realized that we're all in the same boat, and everyone kept saying to me, me too, me too. And I thought for so long that I was alone in it, that I was the only one that experienced it. And when I discovered it actually affected a lot more people than just me, it made it easier. It made it safer for me to talk. It made me more compassionate with myself, not blame myself for so much of what had happened. And you understand exactly, well, that will definitely do it to you, Rich. Hello, Adjust Your Focus. Really good to see you. I hope you are well. So I'm having a bit of a chat to you today about stress and trauma while we soak up some of the calmness on the Yarra River. Just to let you know where I am, I will have done a video from here recently. We have the Art Centre precinct ahead of us. This is the beautiful Yarra River ahead of us. The Yarra River is the only upside down river in the world, which means all the sediment sits on the top and it's very clear underneath. The Yarra goes down from here to meet up with Port Phillip Bay and then out to the ocean. So this is where the river and the ocean actually mix here, that creates all these weird currents. So off to my right we have Federation Square, where I took you for a walk last week, and straight ahead here is Flinders Street Station, our main train station, about 300 metres from us. So this river runs through a very large amount of Melbourne, and there are bike paths all down the side of it, and so you'll always get a really interesting mix of people. Melbourne is very much a city that's designed to walk around. We have a really good tram and train network too, as well as buses. So the tram you're seeing going across the bridge, the whole of our CBD city is a free tram zone, and that means anyone can jump on and off the trams and for nothing, and it makes it very easy to get around the city. Now when you go outside of that area you obviously have to pay, but it makes it really, really easy to go through this. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Adjust Your Focus. I'm really glad. I really needed to do this. I haven't been home for a week. I've been staying in hotel rooms for a really big chunk of time. I'm dazed and confused. I'm coming into week 5 of shock, which is a really dangerous place to be. But I also believe talking about things actually helps them. So partly I didn't want you all just to think I'd disappeared. And I figured it'd be a really good time to talk about this, because as we're all discovering, none of us are alone with this. Not one of us is alone, and each of us here make each other's lives easier. We each share moments from our lives that make us smile, that distract us from what's going on, and we enjoy watching each other's as well. It makes a huge, huge difference. The reason I started this channel was to film one thing a day that made me smile and share it with everyone else, in the hope that maybe someone else would appreciate the same thing. And you know, 5-6 years later, here we are, and we're still going, and you know, I've branched that out into many, many different areas. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute and just let you enjoy the water, and I'm going to catch up with the chat. I'm going to pop the tripod down here so you can have a good look at the reflection. This is the first time I've attempted to do this in 1080p too, so hopefully you'll have better clarity. And I will send you an email. I will definitely send you an email. And we all have our struggles. Life is really, really hard. It's And society has become chaotic. You know, people aren't necessarily nice anymore. Walking down the street can be hard sometimes. I know in Melbourne City here, I can't walk in a straight line without 5 people walking into me. And last night when I was out on Halloween, all you could hear is people screaming everywhere, and not in a good way. And I think that's one of the problems too for a lot of us that need to come out. Where do we go when society has become so angry and unhinged too? So what we do is we take moments like this and we sit down and we let nature help us. We let the water help us. We let everything we can help us. And you too, Rich, very much so, very, very much so. I'm a firm believer in symbiosis, that everything we do can be mutually beneficial. And one of my largest ethoses in life is that I do not want to do anything at the cost of someone else. But there is another side of that. Stuff I do that benefits me can benefit other people, and it becomes mutually beneficial. And I do believe we make each other better, we make each other stronger. You know, one of the reasons music is so good for all of us is it distracts us from the chaos. There's a siren, I'm just going to be quiet until it passes. There we go, that's an ambulance or a paramedic that you would call over in America, and that's another person in trauma that's got someone racing to them to save them, which is the positive side of it. There are things around us to help us. But the hardest thing we go through is actually not being able to talk about things. And I don't talk a lot about what my channel is about, but absolutely everything I do is about trauma and stress and trying to find ways to deal with this flood of cortisol we're in. So cortisol is the stress hormone, and we're all drowning in it. In the past we would have had a little bit of time to catch our breath after a traumatic event, and then we would have been able to get back to life. But what happens now is we just get another round and another round that we never quite get to catch up. And what I'm finding is as we get older, things catch up with us. Things that you sweep under the carpet take a life of their own after a while. I know. And Jason Pug has kept me sane. I owe Pug a massive, huge debt of gratitude. I wouldn't have got through this without him. And, you know, Pug and I have been singing together for many, many years now. And, you know, we're good buddies. We get each other through life as best as can. And, you know, and I hope you all realise that this is why I'm here. This is why I'm really interested in talking to all of you. I'm there for you if you need me. Because we're all the same. We're all going through it. And we have moments that we deal with it and moments we don't. And at the moment I'm not dealing with it, but I'm doing everything I can to make it better. I'm taking positive steps. I'm keeping myself, you know, out there. I, you know, walked down here this morning to do this for your lovely selves. Now let me just show you what I've got ahead of us here too. So what we have ahead, and I might just slightly re-angle this, is the MCG. So you'll see there's some big lights up in the sky there. That's our main sports area. So MCG stands for the Melbourne Cricket Ground, but we just call it the G. And you'll have football and cricket going on there all the time. You'll have other stadiums and stuff off to the side. Across the road here you've got all of the boat houses. So you'll have rowers going up and down here all day, every day. Including a lot of them that will have made their way through to our recent Olympics. Hello Pug Hole Love, I hope you are well. Wearing a chat with Pug Hole, talking about stress on the Yarra River, getting some rest, letting the birds do their thing. There they are, hoping that things come better for us now. It is pretty windy today too. Welcome. I know, right? I saw a short, it's funny you call it a short. I saw a snippet on the TV recently where someone had taken a giant pumpkin and shelled it all out and turned it into a boat. So I really want to see the pugs in a pumpkin boat. That would make me really happy. As to whether it is big enough to fit a pug in it, that is to be seen, I suppose. So tell us, Pug, what were your actual plans for your pumpkins? And just on that, one of the reasons the stream is so clear is I am attempting to do this in 1080p for the first time today, and this is on my GoPro, so you should hopefully get a little bit extra clarity than you've had in the past. Come out nice and clear. So if I do this, you can see all the trams crossing as well. So you'll see we've got barges and stuff ahead, you know, sometimes we'll call them water taxis, where you can hire boats and stuff. Yeah, today's the day, I know, right? Or it was last night for us. I found myself in November. Was it November Rain? How did that song go? I can't remember. You have 1080p there? Excellent. Excellent. I'm really glad about that. But look, what I will do is I can at least take us on a very short walk. So normally I have a brace that I put around my wrist for the for my mobile phone to go on. I have to find a bin for my coffee. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a bin, and then I'll take you for a little bit of a walk down the river, and we can see a little bit more of our beautiful calming city here. And you'll find parks and stuff ahead up here, but I'm not going to head up that way. We did do that the other day. I'm actually going to head down the Yarra River here. We'll walk under the bridge. There's another place down here I always go and sit too. I have many little spots around Melbourne where I like to get out of the chaos for a minute, and I'll take you past them. I do see a rubbish bin up ahead. One of the reasons our city is so beautiful and clean is we have street sweepers, and if any of you have seen the little miniature electric street sweeper I'm in love with, I chased it around Melbourne last night and sung songs to it. I figured eventually they'll talk to me. I'm in love with it. I think it's so cool. And I'm in love with it from a design perspective. I think it is a brilliant design. So we have street sweepers, we have rubbish bins everywhere. We have this campaign that they call Keep Australia Beautiful, that they really started to push back in the 1980s, when we'd all come together as a community and clean up our areas. And since then, the city has been a very nice place to be. In the past, it wasn't so clean. Yeah, exactly. Part of being in the future. Okay, now I'm just going to pop this down for a second so I can drop my coffee. How are we going to do this? Okay, give me a second, everyone. I'm juggling hands and devices and and bins. Okay, success. It is a beautiful place here. I really it's always been one of my favorite places. I love Melbourne. Look, I'm a Melbourne girl. I'm 50 years old. I have lived here my whole life except for a few years when I lived over in Christchurch in New Zealand. And I came back here because Melbourne's my home and I love it. It's not as friendly as it used to be, but it is a beautiful, beautiful place. And there's parks everywhere. We're known as the Garden State. Here we go, some more rowers. So no matter where you are, you can always find beautiful nature. You can always get out of the chaos for a minute. I often spill coffee. Often ends up down my front. So here we've got all these little cafes and restaurants underneath the bridge. That's all about bluestone there as well, which I talk about a lot. So that's one of our local stones. The other local stones is all the red and the yellow. Hello, good morning. Which is what Flinders Street Station's made of. A lot of our train stations and our architecture is all of the red and the yellow stone. So it will get a little noisy as we go under this bridge, just because you'll have trams and stuff like that going overhead. More of our bluestone used in the construction, and as you can see, a lot of really nice Victorian details too. So you know, particularly the metal work under the bridge. Now, Rich, I know you're a metal worker, so I'm going to try to get you a good shot of this beautiful filigree work here. It's we have a lot of this really nice metal work, including all of our lamps and stuff. So what just happened there, and that's standard practice in Australia, is when you're on a bike path, you walk on the left, and if a cyclist is coming behind you, they ding their bell so you know they're coming, and you either step out of the way for them if you can, or you step to the left and they go around you. And that's way better than all of a sudden having this whoosh of air as a cyclist comes past. Unfortunately, a lot of the new school don't quite do that. And you can see here, when you're on a narrow path with water on the other side, you don't want to be dodging bikes. So yeah, I knew you'd like that. Here we go, look at this. Hopefully there's enough light in here. Isn't that exceptional? There you go, and the sound of a metal monster going over the top of it in the form of a tram. So the bridge ahead there is called the Evan Walker Bridge. I will have taken you across there, and I'll take you across there many, many, many times. Off to our left here is Flinders Street train station, which runs all the way down to that bridge and a little bit further. And you'll see again all of this really lovely metal work everywhere. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Maybe you should like redirect the ocean currents, but and all of our like street lights and stuff are the same metal work. Okay. And with many things in Melbourne, you can get it in many ways. It's not just a front entrance and a back entrance. So let's take you through here. You'll have ways you can duck up the side through all different entrances and stuff like that. So here's a little so there you go. It's closed at the moment, but there's a little cafe down there, and this is a little entranceway to it. We've got the train station just in here. So it's about to head out to one of our beach areas. See, look at that, $20 for a hot dog. Crazy. See, look at all of our food prices. It's all gone insane. But anyway, that is the modern world, and I can't win that battle. That's part of the stress and trauma we all go through as well, is that life has become really expensive and really hard. Yeah, do that. Oh, sorry, I was about to hop out of your way. There you go, I heard the ding light. And it's handy. And I guess the American version would be keep right and not keep left. But other than that, it's the same. I did a little bit of welding, more soldering, when I did some basic silversmithing. And I didn't like having to pickle everything afterwards and using all of the acids and stuff like that. So I personally opted not to do it. But I think when you're working on bigger projects and you're properly welding and not soldering and using all your fluxes and stuff, it's a different game. But that's okay. I do still work with metal, I just don't solder. So I have found other ways. So this here next to us, just so you know, is actually on water. So a lot of these little venues here are actually on the river, and we've got a little island under the bridge called Duck Pond Island that's got a venue on it as well. It's kind of nice, the fact that you can go and have a drink and you know, bob away on the natural currents and stuff like that as well. So this is what we'd call a river walk. This is also known as Prince's Walk, this path. So ciao bella, va bene, va bene. So there you go. And this is pumping at night. It lights up, it's just always pumping. We will have been looking at this the other day when I did the night video. I was standing just across on the other side of the river from here, and we will have been looking at it in its full celebrations. So there we go. When we were here last time, I was standing over there with the mosaic statue on the other side of the river. I know, it's beautiful. And one of the things I do love, wow, $2,000 welding helmet, that's insane. Okay, let me try to get somewhere where I can catch up with the chat a bit better. Sorry, I probably missed a few of your messages. So, we've got here Flinders Street. So there you go. People that don't ding, and all of a sudden you're like, oh my god, someone's coming around. So this is one of the entrances to the train station, Flinders Street here. So you either come up the front end of the station and end up on Swanston Street, or you come down to the other end of the platform and end up on Elizabeth Street, which is what's through that walkway, or the Yarra River if you come down this side. So what you can do is you can walk up the bridge here and walk over Evan Walker Bridge, or there is a bridge further down, or you can do what I'm about to do, which is go down. So the little island I was telling you about is just ahead, Duck Pond Island, which is under the bridge there. But this is one of my favourite places to come and sit. So down here you have lots of little benches. You get to watch people walking over the bridge, the reflection on the water. If I have 10 minutes to kill before I get a train, I come down here for a minute. This is what a lot of Melburnians will do. We know where all these little nooks and crannies are, and it's not just walking the main streets. That's not what we do. You know, why would you walk down Flinders Street when you can walk this way instead? You walk this way. It's beautiful. So there's Duck Pond Island there. There's the bridge behind us that we've just walked past. That's a good idea. Yeah, you definitely would, because I imagine it'd be very difficult to breathe under that amount of chemicals and sheer heat as well. So imagine the sheer heat would limit the oxygen supply in certain areas as well. So some of the main busking areas is on the other side of the Yarra River here, which we call South Bank Promenade. And just ahead further down there is Crown Casino, which I haven't done yet. I know one of our TV channels is down filming there at the moment, but I debated going and decided against it. So this is one of my absolute favourite places to come. I'm going to walk a little further down and sit on my normal bench. We have a normal bench. I must say I've probably sat on this bench thousands of times over the last 50 years. So yeah, the vape juice smoke. That's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Okay. So this is also a fortnight lily, which are in flower at the moment, which are really pretty. I have realized a lot of Americans don't know the word fortnight, and it's not a video game. Fortnight means 2 weeks. So when we have a normal pay cycle here, you're either on a weekly, fortnightly, or a monthly pay cycle. So we use it a lot. It means 2 weeks. Okay, and we are going to sit down for a minute. I'll try and get you a nice angle. So let's look over this way for a minute. And then I'll have a really good catch up with the chat. I'm going to pop us down for a minute. We might see a couple of cyclists hooning past. Hopefully. Let me just fix my camera angle. Sorry, when I'm trying to do everything one-handed, it can be a challenge. Frame. We're going to do the best we can. Okay, so let me just do a quick catch up on the chat, because I will have missed quite a few of your comments. Ooh, eye welding burn. That sounds okay. Now I understand what you're talking about. That would be incredibly painful. And I find as we get older, we all start to have, you know, some issues with our eyes too. Oh, you can't see the water. That's not good. You need to see the water. Okay, I'll find us a better place, everyone. Just give me a second and I'll move your camera.
Anyway, and then get breakfast.
Yeah. Don't make that joke. Actually, I know what we're going to do. We're going to pop it up here. I'll be able to get you some nice water, and you'll be able to hear me as I talk. So there we go. That's one of our calming views of Melbourne, and I love the fact that you can see the reflection of all the buildings here. It's the best place to come and see the sunset. You stand on the bridge up ahead and it's just phenomenal. So let's give us another angle. So on that note, I'm not sure how long we've streamed for. Let me see if I can, if someone could, 40 minutes ago. Okay, so on that note, I'm not going to stream for too much longer. I will take us for a walk down here to the next main road, and then I'll potentially do another one later on. We've got a huge amount of stuff happening in the city. It's going to be crazy busy in the city tonight. And I'll definitely do a lot of filming while I'm in here as well. We got a seagull coming to say hello. Let's say hello to the seagull. Hello. Oh, I know, right? I did a 24-hour stream once. Never again. Never again. Ah, okay. Let's show you what the seagull's doing. Yeah, I can. Do you want to see the one that's metal in front of me, or the longer one that I've just walked past? I'll do whichever one you prefer. Here, let me show you that with the camera. Oh, we can't see the seagull. Okay, let's get you the seagull. There's the seagull. Okay. Give me a second, I will walk that bridge for you, Rich. I think you're probably going to want to see the Evan Walker Bridge. The other bridge I will do later. So what I'll do is I'll walk to the other side and then I'll film myself coming back around the other one, and I'll put that up on the other channel. So there we go. We've got a seagull having a meal. Now I'm assuming you mean this bridge here. So, because you have that bridge there, and then you also have another metal bridge here that's got sculptures and stuff on it. But I think you're going to want the other one. Oh no, I'm happy to oblige. More than happy to oblige. So... See, that's one thing we say differently. We call it aluminium. And everyone finds it hilarious when the Americans say it another way, by the way. It's one of the words that makes us laugh. But I know you have many that we use that make you laugh too. So, okay, so we're going to go for a walk over this, which is the Evan Walker Bridge. And each step, we get a little stronger. Each step, we get a little bit further away from the trauma. And hopefully by the time we get to the other side, we're feeling better. Okay. So I'll just give you a bit of a side view of Flinders Street Station, which is off to our left before we cross the bridge. So this is a new exit they put in a couple of years ago that wasn't there before, to connect with all of this. You can walk up ahead that way to the other bridge I was telling you about, but most of us like this bridge. So this is the Evan Walker Bridge. We have a barge coming in too, so I'm going to be quiet. So we started just under the bridge down over here. That's where we started today. Yes, I can go on a tour of the river. Okay, so let's keep walking.
Yeah, that's true.
Looks like the sun's finally come out, thankfully, too. So there you go, Rich. metal heaven for you. And I'll just quickly show you the grounds like this. And initially people would put padlocks on this bridge, but they had to take them on because it got way too heavy and they were having issues with it. Behind us here, there's our beautiful Flinders Street station. So that's all that stunning yellow and red metal work. You can see the spire of St Paul's Cathedral ahead as well. Where the spire is here is where Elizabeth Street meets up with Flinders Street station. So depending on which end of the platform you come out on, it's either Swanson, Elizabeth, or down the back up here on the Yarra. We'll get you to where you need to be. We have an underground section of our train system here, called the City Loop. They are currently expanding that as well and putting some extra stations in too. So between the train stations, the free tram zone, all the little laneways and paths everywhere, it's quite an easy city to navigate. And most of the time you can navigate with nature. So this is closed at the moment, so there you go. I've had many a drink down there over the years. And on this side of the river, same deal, you have places you can sit down. Normally you'd have all of the main busking site just here, but it's all closed for renovations at the moment. Yes, I'm using the GoPro today and I'm doing a trial. So instead of doing it in 720p, this is the first one I've tried in 1080p. So hopefully, I'll show you the statue while we're here. Hopefully the clarity is better, and because I'm in the city, hopefully the internet connection's been good enough. So I'm glad you like that. So we got Southgate off to the side here, which has lots of restaurants, food courts, all that sort of stuff. There's a hotels and all that sort of stuff at the back. One of the main icons here, which I managed to catch the supermoon between its eyes when I was down here last, is this mosaic statue here. So we'll at least take you there before I end the stream today. And then I think I need to go back to the hotel room and get everything charged up. Start again. So I do thank you all for joining me. I hope that this has given you a few moments out of the chaos as it has for me. And really that's the best thing we can do, you know, go for a walk, go sit somewhere that calms us down, get out of our environment. And you know, as a lot of us are discovering because of what we do, if you find something beautiful, share it with everyone else. And you know that sometimes a song, sometimes it's other things. Sometimes it's just our company. You know, just knowing someone else that's there that understands is a huge benefit to all of us. So there we go. I do feel like in some ways that the statue empathises with us. So here we go, a little bit of information. And Southgate Landing, so this is where you get the water taxis and stuff like that leaving from. So you can take them across to the other side of Port Phillip Bay, be it around around Melbourne, or outside of Melbourne, looking to go to areas like Phillip Island or stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. I think welders and trucks keep the world going more than people realise. You know, there's a couple of those things that people don't think about. and without them we'd be screwed. And not welded, haha. Hey, beautiful, very cute. I guess that's an interesting way of not getting on camera. Why not, hey? So thank you all very much for joining me. Let's watch the ferry leave. And they are debating putting a ferry system in here like they have in Sydney, which a lot of you will have seen me on when I was there recently. And you've got a heap of people out on kayaks up ahead too. It was the Yarra Queen, taking people where they need to be. The Yarra Queen. I like that name. Wow, that would have been really cool. Yeah, 1080p streamers. And there are, by the way, masses of public toilets in here at Southgate. So that's one of the other things I like about Melbourne, is there's normally quite a few. You know, you can find what you need pretty quickly. And in true style, the sun's come out. It was very grey before. We've got seagulls everywhere. So on that note, everyone, it's been a lot of fun. I thank you all for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. I will leave you with our beautiful statue here. And I'll see you all next time. Much love. Bye.